Your turn, Yugi boy.
What is up, guys? This is Linthio coming at you with a bit of a special deck profile. This is my King of the Skull Servants deck after Duelist Alliance. Now, a lot of people don't know that I'm a really big fan of zombies and used to play them back in the day when they were big. And King of the Skull Servants and Skull Servant has always been one of my kind of joke favourite cards, because I always thought it was fucking hilarious. And I did have a deck back in the day that I used to play against my mates and just crush them. But unfortunately those days went and those days passed and the power creep came and, you know, everything got sad and I didn't play it anymore. But with the new card in the Duelist Alliance set, I've picked it up and rebuilt it and it's just so much fun. This is actually a really budget deck, so it's a bit of a different one for me because I know I don't really specifically do budget decks as such. But this is a really budget deck for people to pick up if they want. There are some cards in the extra deck that obviously aren't budget, but you can easily replace them. So this is basically it, and this is all kind of the lowest rarities that I can find in my collections. So we kick off this deck profile with 3 King of the Skull Servants. Your main win condition, your main beater. The card's just amazing. If you don't know what it does, it gains 1,000 attack for each Skull Servant in your graveyard. Skull Servant or King of the Skull Servant. And when it's destroyed by battle, you can remove one other King of the Skull Servant or Skull Servant from your grave, special summon it. So he's just a little kind of floater-esque type person, but he's just a beater. Your other main card in the deck is Lady of White. This card is just brutal. You combo this with King of the Skull Servant, and it's just so hard for your opponent to... They just get so overwhelmed. This basically means that any level 3 or lower zombie monsters, apart from myself, are unaffected by spell and trap cards. And it just makes it so brutal when you can just summon this, and then summon King of the Skull Servant, and attack, and they're just like, fuck! So it's just really, really good. It's the main one that you have, and you have to have 3 in the deck, in my opinion. Another one you have to have 3 of is Rightmare. Rightmare is just so good. Being able to just ditch it from hand to either add a Skull Servant from your banished pile to the graveyard, or getting a King of Skull Servant or Lady of the Right from your banished pile, special summon onto the field. It's just so good, because at worst, it's 1,000 extra attack for your King of Skull Servant, and at best, it's a 2,000 boost because it goes into the grave, and it also adds a Skull Servant back from your banished pile as well, or Rightmare. So it's just a really great card, and I feel you have to run 3. Brand new card, Right Prince. So fucking good! When he's sent to the graveyard, you can send a Skull Servant and Lady of White from your deck to the graveyard. You can also banish this card and any 2 Skull Servant cards to special summon 1 King of the Skull Servant. Now don't forget, when they're all in the grave, they all count as Skull Servant, so you can banish any card. You can banish a Lady of the White, you can banish a King of the Skull Servant, you can banish a Rightmare, because they all count as Skull Servants. Playing 2 though is imperative because you don't want to see any more. You play the same amount of normals that you play, so these have to have the same ratio. But yeah, playing 2 is just good, otherwise you just start getting cloggy. Speak of the devil, 2 King of the Skull Servant, 2 Skull Servant. This is the real king though, clearly. Nothing much to say about it. You play the same as Rightmare, as I said. Then the non-Skull Servants, we have 2 Zombie Master because it's a zombie deck. It's also good just for ditching cards and getting them out of your hands and special summoning whatever you want. 2 Mizuki because it's a zombie deck, and you can ditch him with Foolish or anything like that. Then one of the cards that I think is imperative for the deck is Mathematician. This is the slightly non-budget part, I know, but you can add Light Swans if you so wish, because Lilas and Raikas are all cheap. But I feel that I tested Light Swans and I hate them. I hate it so much because I always mill the stuff that I don't want. I can't be a Light Swan player because I'm not Saki. No offense. A Mathematician adds a really nice element to the deck because it means you can just summon and ditch that Right Prince and instantly get 3 into the grave. I like focused milling. I like precision milling in this deck, and Mathematician is why it's in here and why it's at 3, because at worst case you can just ditch your King of the Skull Servant, or you can ditch your Mizuki and make plays. And then finally the 1 Dark Arm Dragon. You do have some form of control in the graveyard with White Prince and everything like that. So, you know, put Dad in because it's a dark and everything's dark. Then going on to the extra deck, the spells, we have 2 Pot of Duality. Notice, different rarities, just specifically for this to show, this is Starfoil as well, just to show that it's budget. It hurt me a little bit to put these in. So yeah, we play 3 of them, just because you want your consistency. You don't specifically need to special summon in a turn, and if you are summoning with King's Skull Servant, it's a normal summon anyway. 2 MST, we don't like back row, or cards specifically that hurt us. 2 Book of Life, I've opted for this over Soul Charge because Book of Life is just better in this deck, in my opinion, because being able to just show you only resurrect 1, but you actually get rid of something in your opponent's grave. It's just a lot more useful currently to me, and you're not really going to be reviving a lot of things with Soul Charge anyway, because there aren't that many strong cards in the deck. Sure, you can go for level 1 ranked plays, but it seems a bit of a waste, because they aren't really that strong and worth it. 2 Forbidden Lance, we want our plays going off, we want our King of the Skull Servant to live if we don't have Lady or White there, so it just makes sense. The 1 Foolish makes sense because, you know, you can ditch loads of things. The 1 Dragon's Mirror. As you might have seen earlier, I do play the Nether Soul Dragon, and Dragon's Mirror is just great. It's a nice top deck, it's a nice option to have, and it only requires 2 zombies from your grave. And don't forget, you can banish and then add them back with Whitemare, so it's not exactly a bad neg. The 1 Ofs is Dark Hole, super Runner. Burial from Different Dimension, because you can basically just go right Princess Effect, banish 3, Burial, put them back. It's King of Skull Servant on 3k. The 1 for 1, because it's King of Skull Servant, and the Law of Darkness for draw power. So they're just all standard, standard spell cards that you should run. I then play 3 Fiendish Chain. We don't like effects. That's one thing that isn't covered by King of the Skull Servant. We don't like effects, and we don't want them to go off. Breakthrough, while it's good, I seriously just don't want them to attack or activate their effects, because Lady or White only has 2/2 defense. While that's good at the start, it does unfortunately go down once they start summoning their boss monsters. So we don't want Fiendish Chain to allow them to do anything, and that's why I play 3, and it's not actually as cloggy as I thought it might be. And then finally the 1 Torrential Tribute, because it's a great card, and I don't care if my monsters get killed, because I can easily bring them back. So going on to the extra deck, as I said earlier, you saw the Dragon's Mirror. We have the Nether Soul Dragon. This card's just so good, because you can just, if you have this in King of the Skull Servant, you can just attack, send the monster to 0, special summon a token, attack with King of the Skull Servants for a ridiculous amount of damage, and then carry on attacking with the token. So this card's really good. I might up it to 2 and add another Dragon's Mirror in, but we shall see. Going on to the level 4s, these are just kind of standards. I realise this isn't budget, but as I said earlier, you can, you know, change them. So the 1 Exton Knight, the 1 Lava Chain. Lava Chain is quite important because you can make a lot of plays with it. Just worst case dumping the Mizuki. The 1 Silent Honor Arc, the 1 Castel, because Castel's just great, and then the 1 Abyss Dweller, because, you know, we don't want Shadows to do anything. Then going on to level 3, so we have Fortune Tune, and Leviathan Dragon, and finally Zenmaines, because, you know, these level 3s are good. And then finally going on to level 1s, I have about 6 of them. We have Lionheart. You'll never go into these amount of things, but we have them there anyway. Lionheart, we have Embodiment of Punishment and Crime, because these 2 work quite well together, obviously. I've only got out once in testing these 2. But yeah, they're more of a gimmick than anything. It's pretty good, but yeah. Ghost Trick to Alone. Card's not bad. It's level 1, use it. Utopia Roots, because this card is quite entertaining. My ulti's in my ulti binder, so, and plus I wanted to show you how budget it can be, and the 1 Slacker Magician for the final card. So that is the deck profile, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It's something a bit different and new on my channel. King of Skull Servant, as I said, has always been a fan. I've always been a fan of it, and this card can get pumped up really quickly. So if you don't know what the deck does, now you do. And if you've never played it before, I implore you just to pick it up. It's really cheap, or just try it on DevPro or DN or whatever. And just give it a go. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I should catch you guys later.